Good morning, everyone. This is Sandy Marrero with Western Marketing, and I have great news for you guys. Today, we have with us Mr. Chris Novak, the representative for Allstate Benefits, and we're going to be talking about the fully insured options that they are offering in few dedicated states. So, Chris.
Yes, sir. I will first like to say thank you very much for joining today. We have really a very exciting product available for everybody. It is, again, like Sandy just mentioned, it's going to be available in a handful of states. We'll go over what those states are, what the process is, and I hope not to take more than about 15, maybe 20 minutes of your time today, just to go over that really quickly, and we'll get started here right away. So we want to talk about what we're going to cover. First, we're going to just real quick about who Allstate is, the fully insured product, how to quote and underwrite, and I'm going to talk a little bit about our self-funded product at the same time because there are some updates there that I want to mention, and then go over any questions anybody may have. So who we are. Everyone knows Allstate. Everyone knows Mayhem. That is the PNC side of things. You've seen a million commercials for them. You should probably see the Allstate hands behind a field goal net. If you watch college football at all. So that is who we are. At the end of the day, we are Allstate, Allstate Benefits. A plus AM Best as of 2020. The group health side of things, we have grown year over year. For the last 15 years, we have had growth. So that's a nice little notch in our belt that we continue to grow year over year. And as we continue to grow, we are getting more and more comfortable getting back into that fully insured space since the ACA hit. So just going to highlight a few things within our industry of what our product is able to do for your clients and some of the clients that you might have kind of in the back of your mind. That didn't have a place before, but we can do now. One, we are industry agnostic. That's true for pretty much every state. There are 4 states that we aren't able to sell on our self-funded chassis. The fully insured side, we are industry agnostic. We can do anybody under 50 enrolled employees, or 50 employees or fewer, I should say, in the business. We do have a minimum contribution of 50% of the employee-only premium. So that's something a lot of groups want to know when they are signing their groups up. There is, on the fully insured side, I'm going to actually stress this right away. If an employer does not want to contribute to premiums and they don't have the correct amount of participation, we will write those groups on the fully insured side right now for 1/1 effective dates. So if you do have a group that says, hey, we don't have participation, bring them over. We can get them signed up for 1/1 on the fully insured side. Also, if they don't want to contribute to the employee rates at all, they can do that. It's a little more hard to get, more difficult to get employees to enroll that way, but we will still enroll those groups. Again, between now and January 1, those groups have to be completed by 12/15 for a January 1 effective date. So get those going if you have those, any groups like that in mind that you'd like to get started. We will write virgin groups, startups, multi-location groups, groups with 1099 employees. We will write groups with purely 1099 employees. We'll also write husband and wife only groups. We do have the ability to carve out groups as well to make sure that we are hitting participation when the time is right and when we need to. We can do that with carve-outs based on location, management or non-management, office versus field, salary versus hourly. As long as there's a nice, clean, defined line, we can do a carve-out. So let's jump right on into the fully insured side of things. The cool part about this is if you've worked with us on the self-funded side, you understand that applications are a must, and we have to health underwrite for those groups and individuals. With fully insured, that is not the case. We do not need employee applications. There is no underwriting for that. So if you have a group that has a bunch of unhealthy individuals, that's fine. we will take those groups on. Their rates will be the same as if they were a totally healthy group. This product is available in 5 states. We have Wisconsin, Missouri, Texas, Indiana, and Florida. We have great networks that we have that are included here. In all of those states, we will have one broad network. That network will be the Aetna Signatures Administrators Network, which is a phenomenal network. My understanding is that it's the 2nd largest network in the entire country. So in terms of, will we be able to go see our doctors? The answer is likely going to be a yes. We also have a bunch of narrow networks, particularly in these states, that are available. Cigna Local Plus, for example, PHCS, Healthcare Highways as well, Valens Access, and a couple of others. This product is available for groups, again, of 50 and fewer employees. If they have 51 employees, this will not be an option that we can actually do. So make sure if we're kind of close to that 50 threshold of how many employees are in the business, communicate that with us, and we will make sure that we can get this taken care of for you, whether it's a good fit or not. And again, as I mentioned, and I'll stress it again and again, there's no underwriting. There will be an application for each of the employees, but it's going to be for basic general information on what their name, phone number, address, things of that nature is, and then who's enrolling on the plan. That's it. So we got the metal plans. This is really no different than any other carrier in terms of what is being offered on the fully insured side. We may have more or less options available than some other carriers. Right here, we're looking at the broad network plans. Our narrow network plans are going to be the exact same ones, except our rates are going to be smaller for those narrower network plans. What you're going to see here is that we have the bronze, the silver. I'm going to scroll over to the next slide here real quick, and then the gold. We do not have any platinum plans available here. This specific quote that we're looking at right now is a group that we're looking at in Dallas, Texas, excuse me. And my self-funded rates are actually more expensive than the fully insured rates here. So as an agent, why would we want to chase down a bunch of employee applications when we know we can get an equal or maybe in some cases better plan for a lower premium? This is something that we can take a look at. Whenever I quote a self-funded plan, more times than not, I will still quote you a self-funded plan because I can quickly just click a button and add all of these plans on the back end to show the group the options. Fully insured, again, because we don't have to do any underwriting, the process can be very quick, clean, and easy. If they like what they see here, the employees complete their employee applications, get those over to us along with the employer application, and within about 5 business days, the group will be implemented and ready to go. It is that easy. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is quoting and how to get that quote and in from me, and then how to get it underwritten. And really, the underwriting is going to be more for the self-funded product, but I want to just touch on that again because once you get me a census, I can quote both options for you if you have those, if you have a group that's available in those 5 states. And then if they want to go down the path of underwriting, we are able to do so. Both fully insured, in this case, when I get preliminary rates, obviously the fully insured, because there's no underwriting, they're also considered final rates, but the level funded product or the self-funded product, it would be preliminary rates. In order to get that, I need some very basic information. I do need the census of the group, which includes the gender, date of birth of all of those employees, or at least the age of the employees that are looking to enroll. If a spouse is enrolling as well, we need their gender as well as their date of birth or age also. Lastly, if a child is also joining, and actually it says we only need the number of children. That's true for level funding, but for the fully insured rates, we do in fact need their dates of birth as well. I do need the business's zip code. Obviously, zip code makes a big difference if they're on the border of a state and that is one of them is that zip code is in, let's say for example, Florida and not North Carolina or South Carolina, Georgia. Let's use Georgia. Georgia does not have fully insured available there, but Florida does. So we got to make sure we have that information, as well as the nature of business or the SIC code. If you have competitors' data available, I'd love to know, so that way we can recommend and show plan designs that are relevant to the employer. A lot of times we get information in, we get a census, and then they say, hey, quote us this rate. We send back a quote and they say, well, that looks nothing like our current plan. Well, of course not, because I don't know what you have. And so if we can get that information, I want to show them something that's relatively close to what they've got in place right now, and then maybe make some recommendations as to how we can either save them some money or still save them money and make their plan more benefit rich. So information on their current plan is very important in this case. Again, getting me a census and those plan designs will get us to fully insured final rates and self-funded initial rates. So not underwritten, not final. For self-funding, if they do want to complete applications, we can do those either with paper apps or online and get them firm final rates. That generally takes 2 to 3 business days. That's a 5-page application. Again, it does ask health questions. If there's follow-up questions that we need to do, obviously that 2 to 3 business days could extend out another day for those follow-up questions to be answered. We do have Apples underwriting in 33 states. In the primary states that I know most agents that are on here today, if I'm not mistaken, are going to be in probably either Texas or Florida, where we're really highlighting this fully insured product with Western Marketing. We do have Apples underwriting available in both of those states as well. And again, another 31 beyond that is if you have any groups that you'd like to underwrite with that process without having to complete applications, in most states, we're going to need 20 plus enrolling employees. And here's the data that we would need in order to get that. In Florida specifically, we have something that's available. Oh, and I should add in here, this is for January 1 effective dates this year only. Not 2/1 effective dates, not 12/1 effective dates, only January 1, 1/1/2025. This is going to be a special exception that's being made right now for groups of 10 to 19 enrolling employees. We will not need applications. We can underwrite the group on the self-funded chassis without applications. Okay, so if you have a 10-person group in Florida, we want to take a look at the fully insured, and we want to take a look at the Apples underwriting, especially if they have a current group plan in place. We cannot do this with virgin groups. They must have a group health plan in place right now. 10 to 19 enrolling employees, I'm going to simply need the group's current bill, their plan design, their renewal, and their census. With that, we're ready to go. We must use our narrow network plans, for example, Signal Local Plus or PHCS Advocate, to write that group, or reference-based pricing, which we call core value. For 20 plus, there is no restrictions on those networks. We can use whatever network is available in Florida. But again, this is really cool, really nice exception for January 1 effective dates. So if you are in Florida, or if you have clients in Florida, we'd love to take a shot at every opportunity you have. Obviously, that goes for every state as a whole, but with the special exception for underwriting in Florida, I want to make sure I highlight that because this is a really, really cool and unique opportunity to take advantage of. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and open it up and make sure everyone has time for questions.
I appreciate it, Chris. Thank you very much. One of the question was if, see, are these rates for certain ages, or is every age the same?
So right now, the only state that we have age banded rates in is in Missouri. Missouri requires that it's age banded. The other states do not, so it is going to be a 4-tiered rating system for those other states. So when we look at this quote, for example, you'll see the employee only, employee spouse, employee child, and family rates. It'll look like that for all groups, except in Missouri. We anticipate that in the near future that the age banded rates will become available in all states, but right now that is not the case except in Missouri. The other thing I want to stress is that if the census, if we quote a group and then the census changes, these 4 tiered rates will change as well, for the better or for the worse. Regardless, those rates will be, if we go from 4 employee onlys to 4 families, the employee only rate, for example, might change. If I'm looking at this, let's call it this, the first silver plan, the employee only rate is $734.69. If we go to 4 families and let's just say they add in 1 more employee only, that rate may change to be $715. So it might actually get better. It also could get worse. And I think that has most to do dependent upon the person that we're adding. If they're young, older, things of that nature, that all has to be taken into account.
Great. Another question that they have is, well, so 4th question type is, these ACA compliance, which I do see that they are.
Of course, they are, yes.
Are these plans available in New York? It is not available in New York, right?
No, just the 5
For
states.
now.
Again, those 5 states are right here: Wisconsin, Missouri, Texas, Indiana, and Florida.
However, did you guys offer the level funded plans in New York?
Level funded is available in New York. The group size has to be at least 50 enrolling employees. You'll end up working with my colleague Kevin on that. Florida, or excuse me, New York is a very difficult state when it comes to insurance. So New York, the answer is, as a whole, yes, we can definitely write groups there, but there are some thresholds that need to be hit in order to be able to write them.
Okay, and specialty drug coverage, is it available in this type of plans?
Yes, absolutely. So this is the fully insured product does follow the ACA requirements. That's what's different about it compared to a self-funded plan. Obviously, specialty drug medications are still covered on the level funded plans as well, or the self-funded plans. They'd be covered maybe a little bit differently depending on the states and the requirements that each state puts in place for those. But yes, the answer is absolutely. We will be covering specialty medications as long as they're on the formulary.
Finally, and I believe I know the answer. Minimum, is there any minimum employees or participation requirement? I know that you have some minimum participation requirement on the level funded, self-funded plans, but in this traditional fully insured, is there any participation or any minimum that is required?
So we must have at least 2 enrolling employees. That's the minimum requirement to offer the group health plan. That's both on fully insured and self-funded. We're waiting for a clarification. We might be able to go down to 1 on the fully insured side at some point. But at the moment, we are still needing some clarification on that. So what I would tell you is minimum 2. Participation wise, we need right now for fully insured for January 1. There is again no requirement. We can write any group size with any participation. That is to encourage. That is an ACA or if you will, governmental push to encourage groups to enroll in health insurance and get people. So on the fully insured side, there would otherwise normally be as well, but in this case, for 1/1, no requirement.
Great, thank you. I think that is all I have for questions. I will be sending the copy of this webinar for everyone that participated here. Remember, we do also have the level self-funded plans as well, which is covered mostly in almost 50 states of the United States. So These fully insured that are available in 5 states have some specialty benefit for those people who are looking for a more traditional type of plan. But it is not just the only option that Allstate Benefit offers. If you have any questions or need any more information, please feel free to reach out to us at Western Marketing, and we'll be more than happy to help you with any questions you have. And then Chris Novak is always available to answer any questions. Send us some census. Let's get you guys some group quotes and see if we can get some new business now that we have an open enrollment and payments are coming at the beginning of the year. This will be a perfect opportunity for you guys to have some sort of commission coming in your door when the new year comes in. If that is all, I want to thank Chris Novak for participating and for giving us the opportunity to take advantage of this wonderful fully insured product. Thank you, Chris.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it. Please send all the censuses you can, especially for 1/1 effective dates. I think this is going to be a big opportunity, especially if you're looking to get into the group space at all. This should be very simple, and I want to just again stress the simplicity of what it takes to get a quote and to sell this. So please, send those over to us as soon as you can for any groups that you may have.
Great. Thank you. You have a blessed one. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.